What is a relationship exactly? A relationship, you could look at it as if it's like a flower. It takes time to grow this flower or these vegetables or whatever. Or you could look at a relationship as if it was a car or a goods piece, where if pieces of the goods are damaged, then the goods are no longer valuable in comparison to undamaged goods. If you are more masculine leaning, you may look at your partner in this manner. And you may even think of a relationship as something along the lines of a deal, which I have stated before. Relationships are transactional, they are deals. But there is a new idea that has come to my attention in the way I look at relationships now. Relationships are like booking hotel rooms. Yes, relationships are literally all about time allocation, no different than your job and no different than the hobby or the activity that you would like to pursue. Relationships are time allocation pieces where you make contributions. It is that. So, because I wanted to change the way I look at relationships myself, right? I wanted this sort of blanket carpet bombing observation of what it means to be in a relationship, of what it means to interact with other people, right? Now, of course, not everyone's going to see this the same way, but the way I see this currently is that relationships are time allocations. They are no different than booking hotel rooms. And if you book a hotel room, you would know that it takes some time before you get to the hotel room. You're not fussed about entering into the hotel room. You know you will enter the hotel room. You could cancel it potentially for another one, but that's how it operates. This is literally how a relationship operates. It is literally the booking of a hotel room. Now, you might not normally book a hotel room because you probably live in your own apartment or house or mansion if you're living in a mansion. A relationship is a lot like a booking of a hotel room because when you need to talk with your partner, you are allocating time for your partner to be spoken with. If you need to do some certain activity with your partner, that is time allocated to your partner. Just like the hotel room being booked, there is time being allocated to the hotel room. And this is what it means to be in a relationship, is where you're literally allocating time. Now, the quality of the relationship depends on the quality of your contribution. So the hotel booking, to begin with, this came about simply by your own contribution. You could say that you attracted the hotel booking to you. In a sense, maybe you did. You could say that you took action to get that hotel room booked. And in a sense, perhaps you did. But simply, the hotel room, whether it was 1 star or 5 stars, it was very dependent on the level of your contribution, or just your contribution at all. Forget the level for a moment. The state of your relationship is dependent on a very similar thing, your contribution. The contribution that you provide can either be negative or positive. We could argue there's a neutral ground there, but for now we're just going to look at the neutral and the positive. And sometimes there are different responses to both negative and positive. Sometimes you might get a golden buzz from a negative every once in a while. But generally speaking, the input that you take in will be exerted in the output. So if you absorb, if you are someone who takes in a lot of good things, you are likely to exert a lot of good things. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That is one of the scriptures in the Bible. That is a manifestation quote, you could even say. Now, when you are booking or allocating time to your relationship, such as the hotel room example, you know when you're growing a flower, you are making some type of contribution to the growth of that flower. You're giving the right soil, the right pot mix, the right sunlight, the right amount of water, the right pH level, etc. And so this is what it means to make a contribution to your relationship, because you don't have to stand watching that plant as if it was like paint. You're not watching paint dry, because if you watch paint dry, you're not allocating time properly. You are becoming miserable, hoping that the flower will do something. the vegetable that you're trying to grow, the plant that you're trying to grow will bloom. But it's not like that, of course. Yes, we could say relationships take time, relationships are like something else. But no, it's literally all about the time that you allocate. It's all about your contribution. You want to make the proper contribution at the proper time. So if you're growing a flower, for example, you make the proper contribution to that flower at the proper time. You don't overextend your welcome, and you don't underextend your welcome. Now, you could do like a little bit here and there. That's better than nothing. So the quality of your contribution does matter, but it is the fact that you make a contribution at all that really matters. So if your partner is stonewalling you, or not talking to you, or they're seeing someone else, or they've cheated on you, or something absolutely outrageous has happened and you're feeling miserable, at the end of the day, it's really all about your contribution. That's the only thing that matters. And it's not about them being grateful or reciprocating your contribution. That will be a side effect in the long run. As long as you allocate your contributions properly and the quality of those contributions are looked at, you will eventually get the outcome that you desire. It could be summed up as compound interest, or it could be summed up as manifestation over time. It really all depends on your contribution. So even if you are doing something in secret, that's still contribution. You can be working on yourself, growing, becoming a better person. That is still a contribution. Because if you simply do nothing, then are you really contributing to the outcome that you desire? Sometimes non-action is the best action to take. Non-action is an action in itself. As long as we're making the right type of contribution, as long as we are contributing in the sense of non-action rather than avoiding or escaping things, as long as we're not avoiding the pain. Now, yes, pain is painful. I can't really argue with there. But we cannot not make a contribution if we want to have a glorious and flourishing relationship.